Okay, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Security at the In30 Network. I forgot what episode number it is. I'm almost at the point where I've just given up on them totally. I think it's 43, but who knows? It doesn't matter. But today we have a good show, and it's eerily topical because after our physical security episode last week. So we're going to let's say hi to Tom first, and then he's going to explain to us what we're doing.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
So Tom, I'm not going to IO, but I will be standing outside Moscone West at the Big Pin next Wednesday. But I need to get there. Should I worry about anything? I mean, we have the TSA. They're going to protect me. No problems, none whatsoever.
So you're not going to walk or
No,
drive?
No.
You're actually going to get on a big metal bird and flap your way there.
I'm going on the safest form of travel.
Okay. So the space shuttle.
Well, it is a jet. It is defined as a jet.
So yes, today we're going to be doing a little thing on security theater, the TSA, and generally airport security. So I just got back from a fantastic conference, a fantastic HackerCon in scenic Columbus, Ohio. So this is it's 614Con. You can find their site at 614con.org. Stay tuned for next year. I'm hoping it'll be really good. This year was fantastic. The highlight of the conference was a speaker that goes by the name of Evan Booth. You might have heard of him, probably not by that name. You've probably heard of what he's done. His project is called Terminal Cornucopia, which is, it's just a series of questions. It's, okay, if I go to an airport with a wad of cash and a travel-approved multi-tool, right? You can get on the plane with this multi-tool. What can I build? What weapons can I make in the airport after the security checkpoint, only using the things in the shops? So only going to shops to buy stuff. What kind of weapons can I put together?
I'm assuming none of them. I'm assuming you can't because they've vetted everything. I mean, you can't bring 3.5 ounces of water on the plane with you.
Right. Well, you can't take 3.5 ounces of water through a security checkpoint, but you can sure buy bottled water in a shop.
Okay.
And that's actually important for one of these weapons. So, security theater. What is it? What do we mean when we say security theater? Essentially, it's security for show. It's actually not security at all. It's just something that makes you feel secure. I think we've mentioned security theater when it comes to mobile antivirus or somebody putting a picture of a lock on their website. Right next to the shopping cart.
The trumpet, when you log into your bank site, it says, what's this image? And it's always going to be a trumpet and nothing else.
Exactly.
Or a golf ball or something like that. It doesn't do anything. It just makes you feel like you have to jump through another hoop.
Yeah. So security theater is the act of doing something or showing someone something very, very publicly to make them feel better about whatever it is you're doing while you're not providing any real benefit to anyone whatsoever. A big case of security theater that many of us have to deal with is the TSA. Yeah, some of the things they do actually keep us safer, but very few, right? Very, very few. And as Evan's pointing out, if a terrorist organization is really, really adamant about blowing up an airplane, there are tons of ways to blow up an airplane. It's actually pretty easy to build weapons after security checkpoints. Really easy. So we'll get into the details of the weapons here in a bit. I don't want to get rid of all the content just yet, but so what are some things that you have seen that are security theater? I mentioned, showing a picture of a lock next to a checkout button on a website. I mean, that's glaringly obvious. It's just a picture. It doesn't do anything for us.
Taking off your shoes when you're going through the TSA line.
Yep.
I mean,
I mean,
at some point once, some guy decided to hide stuff in his shoe. I mean, at this point, we can hide stuff in our underwear, and we're going to be going through naked.
there is a guy who had, I think it was like C4. He was wearing it as underwear. He was wearing some sort of underwear-based explosive. Now, we're not talking about your standard underwear-based explosive. We're talking about underwear explosive that could literally take down an airplane. I've seen bank sites. I mean, the number of bank sites that do this is ridiculous. You log in, and then it pops up like this splash screen, and it says, securing your connection. And it's got these progress bars that move really, really slowly. So you feel good. You feel like, oh yeah, this has got to be really secure. See how much time they're taking encrypting these connections? This is great. This is awesome. Dude, it's literally just an animation. The encryption that they're using for the connection happens in milliseconds. I mean, it happens in maybe 50 milliseconds if it's going to take a long, long time for an encryption connection. It doesn't need a progress bar at all. The encryption doesn't need that much to get going. It's really easy to make a secure connection. It's really fast to make a secure connection. But banks do that to make people feel better. It doesn't add anything. And honestly,
Waste time.
Yeah, it wastes time, but I don't think they would do it unless they really thought that it made people feel better. Right? So
well, we told people to check for the lock, to check for the HTTPS. We didn't tell them necessarily where the lock is, as long as it says secured, what is it, hacker safe at the bottom? What's that? Those little buttons at the bottom that say we were tested every 10 minutes or once a day and we're good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, nothing. I mean, I can just copy that image and paste it there.
It's really great when you buy certain security certificates for your website. You know, the thing that actually makes it HTTPS, you have to have a certificate. It's really great when the company says, oh yeah, and in addition to this certificate, you get this. And they hold up, like, they give you this image, this site seal image. And they put a lot of work into this because it's unique for your site and no one can copy it. And it tells your visitors that you've been secured by SSL company number 5. What are you doing? No one cares.
Basically, when we talk about security theater, we talked about last week on physical security. You go to places that you know are safe. You're going to go do things from companies you trust. I mean, you go to Amazon because it's the biggest, and they have a lot to lose if they screw up. So, and you notice Amazon doesn't have any of this. In fact, their security is a whole another episode, but that's a different story. But they don't try to buy you with we're safe, we're safe, we're safe. If the companies are touting how safe they are, there's probably a reason. And I don't know if it's a good reason. It's like, who cares? You know what you have to check for. Is it HTTPS? Is that lock green in the corner? Does it have a good reputation? Mm-hmm. And really nothing else really matters.
And going to bobshadyonlineemporium.net probably isn't the best place to put your credit card info in. Just saying. It doesn't really matter if he's been, secured by Super SSL. It doesn't matter if his website is full of pictures of locks, and that's the only thing he sells is locks. It doesn't make it any more secure. I get approached all the time. I'm not even kidding. All the time by people saying, Tom, these guys say it's super secure and it's amazing and this company is going to revolutionize everything, and they go crazy. Or there are some people who are a little bit more tempered about it, which I do appreciate, and they say, are these guys making this up? Is this legitimate, or are they just trying to sell me something? Most of the time the answer is yes, they're just trying to sell you something you don't need. There are so many different, especially with website hosting companies, to offer you, super hacker-proof security technology for your server. And the fact of the matter is, most people just don't need it. They're just selling you something that's, extra $50 a year that has no benefit whatsoever. There's some people, and I'm not going to name the company because they don't get free advertising, and it would be a bad product to advertise anywhere anyway. Uh, they're selling essentially a cell phone case that they report to make all of your calls super encrypted, and it disables cameras and keeps the FBI from listening into your microphone in a cell phone case. And some of those things with a decent amount of engineering, like covering microphones, great. Use some electrical tape that you cut into tiny strips that could prevent those from being used, or stopping the FBI from listening into your microphone. Yeah, if you build a case that emits static into the microphone constantly, and that's the only thing it can hear, all right, I could see that. But encrypting everything you say through a cell phone case with expert level or government level hardware encryption, please, come on, guys. I mean, who are you selling to? Are you going to sell to really dumb people who buy this? Are you going to
Well, the
sell to
problem is
people,
they are. The problem is they are, and you want
or
to.
just uninformed, right? They're trying to sell to normal folk who don't know any better, and it's really reprehensible.
Here's a great example, and I don't mean to shed light on a tragedy, but in our school, or in specifically the school in Seattle, in my school we have to wear IDs. The teachers, the students, everyone has to wear IDs, and everyone says it's safer. IDs are safe. They protect everyone. They everything. It's nothing bad happens because everyone's wearing an ID. And on some level, they make a point. If the students are wearing their IDs, we can see who they are just by a visual whatever. Here's the problem. They don't wear their IDs. They don't want to wear their IDs. It's a battle that we have to do. And again, the tragedy that happened in Seattle where the school was somebody opened fire in the school, the first complaint was, or the first snarky remark I heard was, I bet you that was an outsider because an insider that was wearing IDs wouldn't clearly do anything bad. Basically, these IDs are security theater. You have to wear these IDs. They don't have an RFID chip. They don't have anything in them. And they're not monitored. I don't tell my students you have to scan this to make sure it's real. They can go home and just make a new ID without anyone knowing. They can literally put a white index card and say, oops, it's backwards, and no one would bat an eye.
Yeah. And these are students with quite literally, no resources whatsoever except time and a little bit of angst against the current system, right? That's all it takes to fake out an ID system. Now, for someone who's a little bit more professional, that puts some money into their craft, if I'm actually trying to fool someone, I can go out and buy, a card printer. They're not that expensive. I can buy cards. Yeah, they're not going to work when, you swipe them in the doorway. But if you're trying to, don the costume to get the look, it is so, so easy to figure out what a company or a school or whatever place you're trying to get into, really easy to figure out what those badges look like. I did an experiment. I said, I wonder if I can create, in looks, a perfect replication of a Microsoft employee badge for this year. And you know what? I did. So I've got the Photoshop files. It's got my picture in it. And if I wanted to, I could print that Microsoft badge and wear it around all day. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you tried to swipe the card. So
Now,
here's
I was going
here's
to say, if you go to, hold on a second, if you go to Google headquarters in New York City, which I've been to, not only do they have security, you have to swipe that card in. And that's one instance of security being done, I guess, right, where the card doesn't do anything for you. It's the bits behind the card. You would have to actually steal a legitimate card where you couldn't print it.
And if you've ever been in a company that says, hey, you have to swipe your card at each door. You can't just come in behind anyone. Don't open the door for anyone. Only one person enters per card swipe. And that sounds really annoying. It sounds horrible. Humans want to help each other. They say, but it was raining, and I'm not going to shut the door on Bob. I work with Bob. Or I'm not going to shut the door on my boss. He's my boss. I mean, why would I leave him out in the rain? That's a horrible thing to do. Humans want to be nice to each other, especially humans that work together, right? So security, in some instances, goes against our very nature as a society. Unfortunately, it has to be that way because a lot of hackers that print cards like this, that print, here, I am Richard McCain of Access Security. And that's not a bad card. I mean, it's a card.
Is it a good lockpick card?
No, it's actually a pretty bad lockpick card. It's not horrible, but it's not great. It's no Kroger Plus card. But I could totally use this and just walk in behind someone, or have someone open the door for me and say, yeah, my card is just not working. I've got to go up and figure out what's going wrong with it. Could you let me in? And I say, oh yeah, sure, because I've got the card. It's hanging on my shirt. I look like I belong there. I look like I belong in the security division of the United States of America because I am Lawrence Hall. Check that out. How cool is that? I've got security clearance level yellow. That's why it's yellow down here, right? I don't think I'd be able to pull this one off because I do not look as rugged or as handsome as that man right there. But printing cards is so easy, and it's actually a lot of fun. So this doesn't help anyone. This doesn't keep us safer at all because who's actually going up and saying, well, are you Lawrence Hall? Oh, hang on, Richard McCain. Let me type in those numbers here. Yep, that looks like you in our system. The most secure places will have that. But even some government buildings don't go through that much effort to check IDs.
The kids tell me, I have my returning seniors from last year, the college freshmen. Can we come and see you? And I have a policy that generally not. I generally, it's not that I don't want to see them. I just don't want to be interrupted. So I say, no. Can you put me on the guest list? No. Well, I'll get in. Well, if you can get in, I'm not going to stop you. But I'm not going to go out of my way to write you down. And they get in. They use last year's ID. They use anything they can get their hands on because, again, it's just, you need to flash something. Okay, I'm flashing something. And unfortunately, it doesn't do much. And with big places where a lot of people are coming in, it's like the wedding joke. How do you crash a wedding? You just tell the bride you're a friend of the groom, and the groom you're a friend of the bride. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, don't ever do.
We do not condone that. We need a disclaimer on here. We're teaching people how to pick locks, how to build bombs in airports. Don't do any of that. If you get arrested, it's on you. This is education only, which is by YouTube's guidelines, and I'm sure by the In30 Network's guidelines. We are purely an educational show.
And we will report you. We will not. We're not protecting you.
Oh, you will be reported so fast. Yes. I've got the NSA on speed dial. All I have to do is scream up into my smoke detector right here, and they will be on you.
Well, let's go to the actual crux of this whole episode in the 10 minutes we have left.
Fun part.
I'm getting on a plane 48 hours from now. And I need to know, first, here's the thing that I do, and my wife hates this. If I have time, not get the backscatter graph, I will get the pat down.
Oh, yeah.
I get the pat down. Yeah.
It's not that I don't trust the technology. It's not that I'm afraid it'll give me cancers or superpowers, either one. It's that if the TSA is going to go through this level of effort, right, I'm going to make them work for it, just a little bit.
And I'm going to hold the baby while I do it. Because I don't want the baby being exposed to these whatever. Yeah. I mean, are you sure your child is not a terrorist? I wouldn't be so sure. I mean, he just goes ba 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 ba.
See, be careful. A couple more syllables, and he might have a terrorist on your hands.
So I mean, he can't walk. So again, I have to carry all his food, my son's food. I got to carry all our bags, and we have a lot of them because he's so needy. I mean, he literally can't do anything. The stroller, the car seat, all this other stuff, and I'm sure we are going to get stopped. We will be the randomly selected people.
Yes, always.
So you have to stand on the line that's forever long, and then they have to check the passports. I will give it to them that the passports are way better done than they were 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you. I've taken the hammer to the NFC a long time ago.
Mine's still active. I don't know if I'm going to destroy it or not. But here's what people can build in an airport according to these rules. The only materials that can be sourced inside the terminal, that you can get inside the terminal after the security checkpoint, can be used. Nothing beforehand. No sneaking stuff in. The only things on you can be cash and a travel-approved multi-tool, one that's cleared by the TSA that you can fly with. Anything in the airport you'd get yelled at for messing with, such as like cleaning carts or fire extinguishers, you cannot touch. So really normal stuff. Only stuff you can buy at shops, basically. You can make, and this is just a couple of the things. We're going to put the site in the show notes, terminalcornucopia.com. If you just Google the name Evan Booth, it's spelled exactly how it's pronounced, Evan Booth. It'll be the first thing on Google. So this list has got, a bullet, an actual metal bullet, projectile that you can fire from a shotgun, from a break-action shotgun that you can make with stuff in an airport. There's two different kinds of frag grenade. The kind that you throw and then it explodes, destroying stuff. There's a crossbow. There's a sling bow. There are nunchucks. You could make nunchucks if you really wanted to. There is a suitcase that will catch fire and could possibly bring down an airplane if it started a fire in the cargo hold. All of these things are simple to make. There are videos of it. I'm looking at a video right now on, the Chucks of Liberty, or Murica, which is a spiked club.
I'm looking at them now, and I'm hysterical. I mean,
these are great.
All you have to do is buy a water bottle, go to the bar, get some 151 or some Everclear.
Yeah.
There you go.
Even the frag grenade is really easy. One thing you wouldn't really think about, but Axe body spray, batteries, and water make a really explosive combination when they're locked up in a coffee container, right? When they're locked up in a thermos. It will explode.
Or what do they do? Any cell phone battery, lithium ion.
Oh yeah.
Take an iPad. That will explode, and it's happened on planes before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's lithium and water do not mix, or they do not mix nicely, I should say. So what Evan is trying to prove is that, look, the TSA is mostly security theater, and they are not blind to what he's doing. He actually decided to call them up and have a chat with them and say, hey, I'm doing this project as a security researcher. I'm not actually building the things in the airport. I'm looking at things in the airport, taking documentation and pictures, buying the things later, and building them at home. So he didn't actually build this in an airport. But he's proven the point. You can. If you and your terrorist buddies wanted to bring down an airplane, it's actually pretty trivial to do.
Well,
I don't recommend you do it.
I mean, obviously that's what we're saying, and he has that written all over his site. I mean,
oh yeah, everywhere. There's disclaimers and big red letters all over the place.
Well, I mean, look, at an airplane, when you're at an airport, you hear they go on the loudspeaker every 5 or 10 minutes. If you see something, report it. If you see somebody acting funny, report it. Mm-hmm. You can't buy alcohol now duty free and hold it. They like seal it in some container and then either bring it to you later, or they say we'll give it to you in baggage claim or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it because, like I said, 151. You have alcohol. Alcohol is flammable. Um, they talk about looking around and what people hope. What I mean, the TSA wants you to do, and I'm definitely good at this. Is well, look around, pay attention to your surroundings. If something looks strange, report it. And unfortunately, that's what they should be doing. Yeah, the metal detectors are fine. I'm okay walking through a metal detector.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. And I'm okay with the X-ray machine. Okay, that's fine. It gets to the point when coming from Hawaii and having an errant kiwi or having an errant the citrus product, they'll find that in all my suitcases, but they won't find anything else.
Well, I
Anything
don't
else that's
know.
bad.
I had my bags rifled through, and I'm sure you did too, coming back from Google I/O
Oh,
2012.
Google I/O is not fun.
Because they give you all kinds of gadgets, right? But that particular year, Google gave us a spherical metal orb that looked like a comical cartoon bomb. And we had to put it in our suitcases if we didn't ship it home. And everyone had their bags rifled through. And the TSA is all like, what is this thing? I said, it's a
I
Google
don't
thing.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
Google gave it
So,
to me. I don't know.
well, it was one of the three questions. Were you in complete sight of the bags you packed?
Yeah.
Yes. Were you given anything by anybody else that you are not familiar with? Yes. I was given I was given four things.
Yeah.
And what was the third one? Did you leave them anywhere? No, I didn't leave them anywhere. But so I got quote unquote randomly selected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They said we're randomly selecting you. I mean, I had my Google ID badge on and everything else.
Yeah.
And what is this thing? I explained to them the queue, and I told them, I said, oh, really, you're going to search through this thing? I'm coming from the Google convention. I have the same stuff everyone else is having. No, no,
Mm.
sir, we really need to go. They found the foldable corkscrew.
That's what they're concerned about.
Because I went to Napa Valley ahead of time to stay with a friend, and
Mm-hmm.
and I was taken on a couple wine tours, and I was given a souvenir from one of the wineries of a collapsible wine screw.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what they confiscated. Not the Nexus Q, not anything else, not the fact that I had four Android jelly bean shakers that shook every time I walked through. Not the fact that my bag was overflowing. It was a collapsible corkscrew. And yet,
Right.
the people next to me were crocheting with crochet needles.
And what they should be doing is they should be banning Axe body spray in the shops after you get out of security.
They should ban
Right.
X body spray, like just straight
Well,
up.
yeah, yeah. Government ban on Axe body spray. Just, no more of this. We're not dealing with it anymore.
But
Our
it was
streets will be clean.
But it's the idea of look, I understand you have this zero tolerance policy. We understand this. But you have to ask yourself, and I mean, I'm not saying that we need to racially profile, and I understand why they don't want to say that, don't want to get into it. But if someone is acting erratic, there's something. Call them out. You're acting erratic. What's
Yeah.
going on? I'm
Now-
nervous about flying. I'm nervous about this. Okay, find the bottom line. But paying minimum wage workers to look through bags is not going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably. That's one thing. I try to be. I do not agree with the TSA. I am absolutely opposed to them and what they do and what they represent. Right, security theater with nothing to show for it except annoyed, pissed off travelers. But I'm not mean to the guys because they could possibly be making more money at Best Buy somewhere, right? It's not their fault. It's a job, okay? They don't make the policies. They don't make the rules. You want to get angry? Go write your Congress critter, right? Go tell them how you really feel. And then get a, written letter by some intern. But that's besides the point. That's a different problem. Change it where it should be changed. Making their lives terrible will not fix anything. And it
Yeah.
makes a bad day for you and for them.
Look, they're doing their job, and you got to deal with it. And unfortunately, if you want to fly, that's your only choice, and you got to get there 2 hours ahead of time and do whatever it takes.
Or just
But
do what I do. Just buy your own private jet.
yeah,
Worked for me.
buy your own
I
private
own
jet.
3.
Actually, you want to fly out of really local airports. Like there's an airport 25 minutes from me that flies to Orlando twice a week. You park right on the tarmac and you go like literally right on the plane.
That's pretty rad.
So, okay, we gotta end this. I don't know if there'll be a show next week. I will be at I/O, not necessarily at I/O, but near I/O, outside looking in. But if we can get a show out next week, we can. But if not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good day,
See you,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.